Even though September is a month primarily ruled by the earth sign Virgo, the air element really takes the wheel. This contrast of energies symbolizes the need for integration of intellectual concepts, and the way the month starts bears many clues as to what areas you should pay attention to. Right away, the first few days of the month start with a feature of opposition between Mars and Neptune happening in your 2nd and 8th house. This transit speaks of your resources and that of others and the balance in between. Mars in your 2nd house indicates a need to take money matters much more seriously. It's probable that you have already seen some of this transit's effects in the antecedent month. Still, as Mars will be transiting out of Virgo and into Libra this September, the obstacle will be having to deal with other people. The 8th house is closely connected to the government, taxes and banking, and having Neptune in there can cause some problems as the planet is somewhat unreliable when it comes to earthly matters. Pay attention to where your money is going. If you are one of those people who have far too many subscriptions, check if it's time to cancel any that you are not using anymore and are just draining your hard-earned money away. It's time to make some cuts, and whatever is not a necessity that needs to go. Moving along 2 significant points in the Moon's orbit can join having a powerful global effect. This conjunction will happen in your 11th house. Whenever Lilith and the North Node join, the world hits a hard reset as we are all forced to face the side of ourselves we are not very comfortable showing others. This happening in your house of public life will have significant implications. You may generally feel as though you need some time apart from the world. 11th house is usually associated with social media, so you may find that these platforms are especially tiring for you at this time. Some discomfort is imminent, as Leo does best in the public eye. Yet, this transit may be manifesting in that specific placement to invite you to learn how to be your own hype man. Relying too much on public approval can be extremely unsustainable. Lilith here almost wants to question the validity of that esteem in the first place. She asks the question, if all we do is for the approval of others, then what do we approve? Perhaps you went too far in your need to keep a good presentation and forgot what you genuinely want along the way. It's time to check for any dissonances between what others expect of you and what your aspirations are. Maybe the goal you have been tirelessly working towards to no avail is not even yours in the first place. In this case, harnessing the motivation to continue to fight a seamlessly endless war is remarkably taxing. This is not to say you should give up on whatever you are working on because it's tiring you. The invitation is to take a hard look at what the source of that goal is. If it's not coming from you, let it go. As if this is not enough to think about, Lilith will also be part of a grand trine between Mercury and Saturn in all air signs. Air energy is about our ideas, discovery and study. This transit is happening in your 3rd, 7th and 11th house. Adding to the Lilith conjunction, Mercury and Saturn question your approach to intimacy. If you have been putting up with other people's nonsense because you are afraid of losing some sort of connection, this trine will push you to ponder if it is worth it letting this go on for that long. A decision must be made, and once you make it, it will be much easier to make reasonable demands. Taking the time to think is crucial, so you don't let your emotions get in the way of your reason. When you know your needs, there is no need to compromise your well-being for others' convenience. There are times we have to make sacrifices, but if these go unnoticed and are continuously one-sided, that's a sign someone is taking advantage of your kindness. Mercury transiting your 3rd house will make expressing your needs easier, so take advantage of that transit to make the requests you feel are necessary. The Virgo new moon in your 6th house will be pushing you to make decisions much more promptly. As this new lunar cycle unfolds, there will be an impulse to work out any unfinished business in your work life. This is a good sign of old projects coming to completion or even new connections with co-workers you haven't been too close to before. Another possible manifestation of this lunar cycle is a more rooted integration between your work and personal life and greater care to ensure one doesn't take over the other. This moon will also be trine with Uranus, who has been transiting your 10th house. Uranus's influence could symbolize you are assuming a new role in your workplace or even an unexpected promotion. That being said, this would also be an especially auspicious time to ask for more responsibility and, of course, a raise. With Mercury still helping you out with your communication skills during this period, taking the time to craft a well-written email to plant the seed of your well-deserved rewards will prove to bring quick and tangible results. Of course, be mindful of your own limitations. If your work life hasn't been the focus for the last little while, it's best to not be too pushy. The full moon in Pisces happening in your 8th house will close the month with an intense need for some me time. With the influence of Neptune through this lunation, chances are your emotions may be quite overwhelming. A lot is going to be brought out of the darkest and deepest depths of your psyche. It's an excellent time to let the tears fall down, even if you think it's for a silly reason. Not every Leo will be going through the same emotional thunderstorm, but all need the space to be able to feel mellow for a day. Life is full of ups and downs, and when we learn to appreciate the less glorious bits, the upswing is much more rewarding. So no matter how big or small you think your problems are, take this time to complain and yell at the world if you need to. I mean that figuratively, but as long as you're not disturbing anybody, you do you. Neptune may give you an urge to run away from these emotions that are slightly harder to manage, but embracing them will be much more rewarding. Putting a band-aid on the situation and pretending like everything is okay will only go so far. You might as well get all the tears out in one go, and when the storm subsides, you can go back to being the light that brightens everyone's day again. For now, your emotional body is the priority. Thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumb up if you liked the video. Subscribe our YouTube channel not to miss the next video horoscope. Visit our website GoToHoroscope.com where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand.